So there's a lot of stuff going on with Motorsport games that I haven't made a proper video in months because there's just so much. And usually a lot of the times the same opinions I share is with Disco Inferno, and usually he covers them and does a lot better of a job. So I guess I could try my best to kind of just catch you up with some of the stuff that's gone on. So let's begin with that. So first off is the Heat 5 2022 DLC that has yet to come out. They were supposed to release this sometime in October or November. It is now mid to late January, so yeah, where is it? No communication, no transparency, which is something DK adamantly mentioned in the town hall meeting literally last year around this time about being more open and transparent, though there's a bit of irony in that considering his background was a green screen, which is very hilarious. So that's funny. And basically everything he said was a lie. So I'm not shocked by that, but he's funny. He makes you laugh, so hell yeah. So yeah, that's the first thing. So NASCAR Heat 5 2022 DLC is not out. I don't know why. I guess the assumption is that it could be with the sound, which NASCAR Rivals does have a lot of that sound issues. So maybe I have to imagine there is some truth to it, but why on earth even mention this if this is just not going to happen? So I don't know. It's just ugly. It's gross, bad. Yeah, just really not a whole lot else to say. They were able to get it for the mobile and the, yeah, I don't know. Just very disappointing to the people that really want to play it on Heat 5. But for me, I think it's a good thing because they would probably mess it up because I don't trust them doing anything with the ham sandwich, let alone, making a game. So yeah, it's better off that they maybe don't even touch E5 because it would probably make things worse. So the next thing is something that no one else has talked about, but basically Brian France is a investor for Motorsport Games, and his investing company is called Silver Falcon Capital. If we go to about, you could see just their history. They talk about Brian France, but they never address any of the, his accusations that he was part of and trying to act like he's the bee's knees, which is ridiculous. Then the team, right off the bat, we got Brian France's derpy, goofy looking frickin' face. So yeah, he is a backer for Motorsport Games, and I don't know if he has a lot of pull of NASCAR anymore, but he's definitely got a fat stack of cash to inject into Motorsport Games whenever they need it. That's at least my conspiracy theory. So once we go to partner and brands, we can scroll down. You can see Motorsport Games. That's what they're a part of, and everything. So yeah, that's another thing. So remember that mystery money, that mystery $2 million that Motorsport Games injected into, or that they got. It could be possible from this. Who knows? So it makes me terrified of all the drama, all the stuff that's going on with Motorsport Games. It would not shock me if they just somehow keep on living because Brian France has some fat stack of cash and could just inject into this company and keep them afloat at almost any means necessary. So yeah, that's scary. That's concerning. It's almost like Brian France is trying to sabotage NASCAR for getting rid of him for his completely fair and understandable shit that he did back in 2018. So, yeah, it's almost like he's trying to, sabotage NASCAR and, we're going to actively, back a company that makes bad games. I don't know. It's funny. But, yeah, this is the thing. This is indeed real. I didn't know it was real, but it is real. And if we go to Mike Strou's Twitter, he made a post literally January 13th. And, yeah, NASCAR 23 is still in designing stage, which, if we do a simple internet search, what designing a video game means, or at least being called in the designing phase, it basically means before the writers begin writing, the designers begin designing, developers begin developing. So it's in the very early stages. It's not good. That's terrible. The game's supposed to come out, 5-6 months? It's still in this stage. And remember, Ignition took 3 years to make, and that's the heaping pile of garbage that we got. How are they supposed to make a game even in 2 years or even less than that? Or, well, I guess literally 5 or 6 months from now. And for it to be in a reasonable condition. There's no way. I mean, it's the same group of people that did the town hall meeting. Basically, said that they couldn't handle a mirror because the PS4 and Xbox One couldn't handle it, and people forget. As much as I almost want to defend the developers, there's a couple of developers in that town hall that defended this trash and just try to fool people into thinking that that's right. Or with the car turning to the left, and then DK's like, well, real life race cars do that. But somebody else, it wasn't him, but somebody else was saying like, well, cars in real life do turn left, but they have something that can balance it, which in our game doesn't have. Yet they want to reference and hammer in that authenticity avenue when it's not even the case. So, yeah, that town hall was such a insane amount of BS and everything. But yeah, so this is not good to hear that right out of the bat. So then on January 9th, my birthday, we get an amazing birthday gift of sources, Motorsport Games developers threaten lawsuit over unpaid wages. So we got some more just devious, disgusting, just behind-the-scenes crap that does matter, and it is important to actually address it and just not sweep it under the frickin' rug. Because this kind of mentions the culture or just how everything works there. So the biggest thing that this article addresses is that there's 30 Russian employees at Motorsport Games that have not been paid since October. This was posted in January, so that's October, November, December, January. 4 months of not being paid, which really frickin' sucks. Because who knows if any of these people are living paycheck to paycheck or what, but that's terrible. The constant ignorance and lack of communication of Motorsport Games led employees to request that if all debts in the company to employees from NASCAR team are not paid by January 25th, a lawsuit against Motorsport Games to be filed. And it's a week from now, so who knows what's going to happen with that. But not looking good. So, but yeah, there's another theory that because of how Russia has everything with its wages, there may not be any like security for that, or like be like a guarantee of like you're gonna get paid, no matter what, or like they have different payment methods, or not payment methods, but they don't have like the Better Business Bureau like here or anything. So there could be a very strong chance that Motorsport Games is taking advantage of just the laws that Russia has, where they can get away with shit like this, and it's kind of disgusting, to be honest. I can't say that's nice, but DK is a nice guy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He is a nice guy. I mean, he's he's using that 634% increase of his own personal pay, and he's stuffing it right into his fat stack of cash that is probably the size of a small planet. So good for him. And no, I'm not going to start believing that it's because of the war in Ukraine that's affecting us. No, that's bullshit. So no. Although relocation isn't common for developers, Motorsport Games did not offer any compensation for the move and said that employees will have to relocate on their own. So basically, pay for your own freaking money, you pay pig, and move out. So that's shitty, because usually when there's relocations, the game, the company they're working with, they usually pay for the expense of travel and stuff to get there. But so not only do they have to pay for their own wages to move, but their salaries would be 20% less. I mean, how bad? I mean, you have to be desperate. So maybe these people are desperate to do all this, but this is just stupid. It sounds stupid, and quite frankly, insane. So, yeah. And then they're not even sure if they'll even get paid if they move. So, yeah, good job for those potential, if it's all 30 or even most of them or however many, that their lives were affected and their families had to move and everything had to change because of them. So that's really fucking nice. That's just absolutely horrible, and just keeps getting worse. It's it's understood that even those who were able to relocate to Georgia, which I think is another part of Russia, it's not like U.S. or anything, we're not getting paid. They're still we're getting paid after the move, so that's awful. So yeah, it's just every time it's brought up again, excuses are being made. Yeah, that's such a nice environment to be a part of. Just absolutely awful and just really, really just disgusting. And there's nothing good. Nothing good is coming out of this. It's honest. It's just depressing, and NASCAR gaming is in a terrible, terrible spot for casual gamers, content creators, people that rely on these new games for just income for their full time jobs, because that's kind of what mine is. Same with Radman. Same with, I think that's it. I don't know. It's bad. It's bad on all fronts, no matter what side of the coin you're on. Whether, yeah, like I said, a casual gamer or whatnot. So, yeah, it's in a horrible state. And NASCAR gaming is so important because I got into NASCAR gaming through NASCAR Thunder 2004, and I was already kind of a big fan before then, but that game kind of like elevated it into like a whole other stratosphere because, yeah, I think my first game was NASCAR 2000, and I was a fan since then. But I remember playing the absolute crap out of Thunder 04. But my point is, NASCAR video games is a great gateway for like getting you introduced into the sport itself, and it's so important. And this current generation isn't really having that. They really haven't had a a quality game in 15, almost 20 years. I would say 15 years is being generous, but it's been a long time. So it's sad. It's sad that it's in this state, but it keeps getting worse. So hold on a second. So this came out on the 16th. Motorsport Games employee threatens to leak source code of 4 games, and yeah. So what's happening is, I might as well just read it because this is actually a pretty short article. It's seemingly gone from bad to worse for Motorsport Games these past several months, with employees not being paid and threatening lawsuits, to its entire board of directors leaving the company over funding disputes, which that's a whole other thing. That's actually another article too. That's another article too. I don't know why it's NASCAR 2013 here. That doesn't make any sense, but yeah. There's just a lot. This was back in November, so it just continues. I mean, it is just nonstop bad news, almost on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. It's just depressing, and it's just sad. So, yeah. In a new update from an anonymous employee, Inside Gaming has learned that the company is now essentially being blackmailed to pay unpaid wages, or source code of all 4 games will be released online. Employees who spoke to Insider Gaming on the request of anonymity, because they were not authorized to speak about the company information, has said that one employee has directly threatened Motorsport Games CEO Dmitry Kosko and the company's new directors. Yeah. In the threat, it was said that the employee has a source code for 4 Motorsport games, which includes NASCAR 21 Ignition, NASCAR Heat 5, IndyCar, and CarCraft. Now, yeah. Generally, blackmailing source code for all this would be bad, but considering what Motorsport Games has done to its employees, the behind-the-scene tactics, the shitty business that it has gone on, this honestly makes this blackmail, the source code, almost anti-hero like. It's nuts when that is technically better than everything else they've done, and it's for a good cause because they're not getting paid. I honestly don't even blame them in this case, as normally bad as it is, but in this context, that's a good thing. As insane as it is. But yeah, so apparently source code is there for IndyCar, which I've heard next to nothing about the actual development other than it's coming. So, and like one screenshot, which really could have been R-Factor 2 screenshot. So I don't know, but yeah, so that'll be interesting. But I don't know. Source code is the heart of the game, and it's very important. So yeah, it's just not good. Speaking with other employees not familiar with the situation, it was said that they were not surprised that such drastic action was being taken from someone who was probably nothing to lose. It says a lot right there. The comments were made following Inside Gamer's report last week about the entire Russian studio, consisting of 30 or so employees not being paid since October. In addition, it was revealed that some Some employees were offered to relocate to Georgia with no help with the company in order to pay for this. Yeah, yeah, that's what we just addressed in the previous article. Employees that spoke to Insider Gaming strongly believe that IndyCar is the next game for the company to release, but are strongly anticipating NASCAR 23 to be delayed to 2024. But remember, they said everything's fine. Everything's going according to plan. Our roadmap, nothing's changed. But yeah, DK once again lies and not a nice person and has continued to do exactly the opposite of what he said in the town hall about a year ago. So that's wonderful. Wait to utterly destroy the fans' trust and everything. And also hiding because you are the face of the company and you have done nothing to actually come out publicly with this stuff other than what you said a year ago. So good job hiding. I appreciate it. I appreciate a coward. So fun. As for source code, it's going to be released public by the end of the month, but that remains to be seen. We'll keep updating the situation. So, yeah. And wait, there's more. There's more bad stuff that's come out. So let's talk about virtual 24 hours of Le Mans. So, kind of like what it says, it's on rFactor 2, and it's earned out. And it's important to mention this because Motorsport Games owns rFactor 2, and this stream, this broadcast was a complete shit show. There was a lot of disconnects, and there was a lot of high-profile people, one of them being Max Verstappen, who is an F1 champion, and kind of a high-caliber driver to have an event like this. But when you have, basically what happened to him is he was leading his class, he got disconnected and lost 2 laps, and he didn't get his laps back, which is BS. He raged at it. Can't blame him. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, that's unprofessional. No, I don't blame him one bit. And him coming out and saying this is almost like the same thing of what happened with, I think there was somebody, I don't know if it was Scott Dixon, some IndyCar driver critiqued iRacing's, IndyCar physics and stuff. It was like on that scale. But it's even bigger than that because F1 is a global sport and way, way bigger than IndyCar. And for Max Verstappen to come out and say all this, that's pretty huge. So I'm just going to play the clip because I don't think I could do it justice because he said it perfectly.
When I leave the game, yeah?
Yeah, Max, we're not getting the lap back.
Yeah, we need 2 laps, but what it is, they call it, it's amazingly bad luck. Well, this is just incompetence. They can't even control their own game. And this is already the 3rd time this happens to me now that I get kicked off the game while doing this race. So it's also the last time I'm ever participating. Because what's the point? You prepare for 5 months to try and win this championship. You're leading the championship. You're trying to win this race, which you prepare for 2 months, and they handle it like this. I mean, there have been 2 red flags. They blame it on, I don't even know what, people DDoSing the server. Then they cancel the rain because probably that's already a big influence. And then people are still getting disconnected. And now, of course, at one point also we were hit by it, and then they're just not dealing with it because they need even more people to disconnect. It's just honestly it's a joke. It's not even, you cannot call this an event, a clown show. That's why it's better to retire the car, because drive around in P15 for 6 hours makes no sense for everyone, Just a disgrace for all the effort we put in as a team. I really hope the organizers also, they consider where they put this race forward, because on this platform it's not going to work. That's it. Game over.
It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. Let's root for the other guys and pray that we don't get any disconnections. But this is
Yeah, but anyway. I mean, I hope of course they win, but I think I have more chance if I go to Vegas and I'm just gonna go to the casino. I think I have more chance to win.
So yeah, I don't know what the deal is with the music at the end, but he basically says that he's gonna uninstall the game and everything. But yeah, terrible look. And Motorsport Games has a hand in that. This is the same people that said that the 24 Hours Le Mans, like 100 million people are watching it, or some astronomical, absurd amount, which was not accurate and just ridiculous. The list goes on. I mean, you can honestly make a Netflix documentary series on just the shit that Motorsport Games has done, even before Motorsport Games existed with DK and his past endeavors with conning people. So it's gross. The whole situation is just completely gross. Sad and disgusting. I'm gonna go on a rant here because Jimmy Broadbent actually made a video on this, and I don't know why he was like, I guess, surprised that this was not good. And it's like, well, Motorsport Games had a hand in it. You played their Motorsport Games, Ignition game, and you hated it, and the Motorsport Games had a hand in that. I don't know why he's surprised that this is bad when, I don't know. That's weird. So I guess maybe he just innocently forgot, but I found it funny because NASCAR people have been dealing with this garbage for a long time, so it's unfortunate. Then there's other people that are saying Motorsports Games, and it's not that. It's Motorsport Games. Do I have to do a Google search to correct people on that? Yeah. See, it's Motorsport Games, not Motorsports Games. 'Cause, that alliteration, it just feels gross on my tongue. So if you're going to criticize them, at least say the frickin' name right. Come on. David Land did that too. Somebody else did it as well. It's like, why? But yeah, that's the state of just what's going on. And it's been insane. To put it lightly, absolutely insane. And it's really sad because there's no good news, and it really feels like there might be an IndyCar game, but I don't know. Do people really expect that to be good? No, not really. Why would anyone think it'll be good? I feel bad more for the IndyCar fans because they've been waiting 20 years for a game. Because Motorsport Games pretty much because that's another fucking thing too. God, it keeps going. So we have another thing too where iRacing's IndyCar license ended by the end of 2022. So Motorsport Games is being like, all right, we're gonna take up IndyCar. We're gonna get their exclusivity license, and iRacing can't do it. Somehow, DK finagled his way into getting IndyCar exclusivity rights, and it basically fucked over iRacing, with their IndyCar and all the people that actually like it on that server. So that was a big middle finger to them. And now Motorsport Games is going to have the rights to make a game, and it's not going to be better than what iRacing has. The game's going to be a broken, fuddled mess, and it's going to be embarrassing. And yeah, so that's another thing that they fucked up on. But another kind of insane thing is IndyCar, even after Ignition, even after all this crap has come out, they still wanted this or accepted it, and it's just mind-boggling the stupidity of IndyCar for going along with this, however it happened, and for NASCAR to be asleep at the wheel to not do anything about this. I don't know if there's just some clause that they just can't get out of or what the legalities of it, but how could they sit here and just not do a goddamn thing? Now, I've heard stuff on Twitter that they were trying to do stuff, but that's not been made public, and the only hint we've got was a tweet or something, a rumor that they were looking into getting rid of the license, I don't know, exclusivity rights or something, but that was almost a year ago, and I have not really heard anything since, so I don't know. So it's just doom and gloom. It's bad. As a content creator like myself, even Mertz, I would have to imagine is a little bit concerned because I know he had a lot of plans for the new game and he really can't do any of those. And I mean, I'm in a horrible spot because I don't have any new games to play other than World of Outlaws Dirt Racing, which was it's been fun. But my heart and soul of the channel is NASCAR stuff, and all I have is Rivals, which is basically Heat 5 but worse and more broken at times. So that's all. It's just sad. It's sad for people that just want a casual NASCAR gaming experience and don't want to fork out hundreds upon hundreds of dollars for iRacing. The membership, the tracks, the cars, the wheel, just the pedals, and everything. It's an absurd amount of money to get into iRacing. And a good PC to boot. Well, maybe not a good PC, but a decent one. It's just it's sad. I don't know. It's just really depressing. All this news is just awful, and it's just a shame. Because they really fooled us all when Ignition came out with all those nice photos and everything. And now people want Motorsport Games to come back, and I don't blame them. I do too, because at least they can give you a product that's not awful as far behind as Heat 4 and 5 were. I mean, at least they were functional games, and the AI was pretty good. The dry mile wasn't as good as like Ignition or whatever, but for God's sakes, at least you could play the game. The rules work. You're not going to get a thing where half the field's one lap ahead, another is a lap down because the yellow came out in a weird time. Like that stuff, the fuel stuff is all messed up, and the AI, like at least you're having a functional gaming experience. You go from track to track, and yeah, maybe the difficulty's a little bit harder than other, but at least the rules make sense, the cautions make sense, the AI so much more enjoyable. It's just really depressing. So yeah, that's my thoughts on what's been going on. I'm sure I'm missing something because there's so much, but that's my 2 cents. Maybe I do these more often. I don't know. I don't want to be copying Disco Inferno's like opinions too much because we kind of align with a lot of our viewpoints on this stuff. So I don't want to come off like I'm copying him, but sometimes we just think and say the same things. So I don't know, but we'll see. That does it for me. I'll get going. I'll see you all later, and hopefully have a good day.